It's a big season of change for the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. This weekend, the final concert of the symphony season takes place as they celebrate Gwen Hoebig, who announced her retirement as concertmaster of the WSO after a 37-year tenure. That means that somebody has to take Gwen's place, or as best they can do so. The symphony has announced the new concertmaster of its ranks, and it will come as no shock at all, really, that the person that they have chosen is Karl Stobbe, who has been the assistant concertmaster with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra for a number of years already, and of course, no stranger to Winnipeg classical music fans. Karl joins us live in the Classic 107 studios this morning. First of all, congratulations, sir. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I can't even imagine. So this was a blind audition process. You were chosen unanimously. What was it? What were the emotions that you felt when you got that call to say, "Yeah, you're the guy"?
It was a long day of auditions. I think we probably finished around 10 p.m. And at the end, the personnel manager of the WSO came back and he said, "They're offering you the position." And I think I was fairly dumbfounded, and then I was quite emotional. I was very tired, very, very tired, and I was definitely a little emotional. There was somebody from the orchestra who was there were a bunch of people from the orchestra because there's 13 people on the panel, and then there's several other people there, kind of walking you back and forth and kind of making sure the thing is running properly. And one of those people came into my dressing room and sort of started jumping up and down. And I thought, oh, that's the greatest reaction I could possibly have seen. I was so happy to see that.
Yeah, quite a vote of confidence from your fellow symphony members there.
It was really, that was a great moment. I'll never forget that, actually.
Wow. I mean, for the amount that you've achieved and the amount that you have done within this musical community, to hear that you were dumbfounded that you had won the concertmaster position it's quite refreshing to hear. What does this role mean to you after everything that you have done in this musical community?
Well, it's really hard to put that into words. You know, as the associate concertmaster for the last 26 years or whatever it is, you do feel like you are part of that position in a way already. I mean, you're not Gwen, you're not the concertmaster, and there is definitely a difference between those two roles, but there is on some level it's a shared responsibility as to what's going on in the orchestra. So, you know, Gwen and I kind of had organized it so that she would really be dealing with things that came from the podium when the requests, and I, in the second chair, would sort of try to deal with things that came from behind us, because often things would come at the same time.
Sure.
So, like, I feel like I understand the role, but of course there's going to be a lot of whoever the second chair coming in is we're going to have to communicate a lot as to how do we make the nuance of that. How do we change what or organize amongst ourselves now how the different nuances of that role are going to work?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's all these different dynamics that are coming into play with the Winnipeg Symphony. Some pillars of that symphony are coming and going. What do you think that the start of your tenure will be like, and how do you hope that you'll be able to sort of set the tone, maybe as the concertmaster? And maybe as we consider this question, it's helpful to think about when you started with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra back in 1996, and how was that sort of culture of the orchestra in its performances and in its rehearsals established for you when you first came in?
When I first came in, Gwen had been the concertmaster for, I don't know, I guess 10 years or something.
I think it would be 11 if I'm doing my mental math correct, something like that.
Something like that. She was brilliant, of course, and I was very green, and I was told I was very green. You know, my colleagues said, you know, just sit there and learn as fast as you can, which I did. I really tried to do, and Gwen gave me tons of advice and was so incredibly helpful. for trying to figure out for me and trying to figure out what do I do here. I mean, obviously I know I play the notes, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
How do you learn fast enough, and how do you play the notes at the same time as other people are playing the notes, and in the same style that other people are playing the notes, and what does the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra sound like, and what is our style, and how do I adapt to that style? And so, that was a big learning curve for me, and I relied on Gwen and other people a lot to help me with that. And now my role, in some ways, will be how do I help the next person with that. I've gone from the trainee to the trainer in some ways.
Yeah.
There will be a large part of it, and because the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, we are getting a few new players in important positions, because we have 3 very important people who are retiring.
Yeah.
In Gwen and Jan and Yuri, and so there will be a lot of feeling out. How does that affect what we sound like, and of course it'll be important for me to try to guide, if they're young, to try to guide that and try to have a hand in making sure that we keep a really high standard, which is absolutely one of my major jobs.
Sure.
We've got to make sure we keep a high standard. And at Winnipeg Symphony, I mean, we naturally have a great standard. It's a great orchestra.
Yeah.
But with new people in, that has to be on paramount in my mind.
As you consider how to bring people up to that standard and to teach them about that standard and that sound of the WSO, what sorts of advice, I'm curious, did you receive from Gwen in those early years that you're going to I'm definitely going to tell that to the next person, regardless of who they are? Like, what's like a universal sort of piece of advice that you remember Gwen giving you in those early years when you first arrived?
Gosh, I don't think I could think of anything specific. I mean, she sort of gives you this: don't play first and don't play last.
All right.
Yeah,
sure.
It's the real simple ones, but sometimes those simple ones are actually not that easy. Yeah. I remember once that Gwen and I had a solo for a 2 violin solo to do, and this is probably in my first or second year, and I was constantly just this one tiny little bit behind her. And she looked over at me and she said, "Karl, you're one tiny little bit behind me, and you need to be less of a passenger." And I thought that word "passenger" was really valuable.
Yeah.
You actually have to kind of be a leader, even if you're not the actual leader. You still have to feel that. You still have to breathe that. You still have to feel like you are.
Wow.
You're leading and leading together, so that front stand leads together.
Sure. So I mean, this is not. I mean, you talked about this kind of being a natural fit for being the assistant concertmaster for as long as you have with the WSO. Also, of course, you have served as the concertmaster for the Manitoba Chamber Orchestra for a number of years as well. What sorts of things are you bringing in from that experience with a different orchestra and a different environment into this role, now being the concertmaster for the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever thought about it. I mean, I've done it for a while, so I don't feel like I'm bringing anything. And I've done it for a while. It's 2 things. I've done it for a while, so I feel like I do what I do.
Yeah.
At the same time, I've done it for a while with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, not as concertmaster, but lots of times when Gwen is there, I have served as the concertmaster. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's brand new for me or for them. So I feel like we both kind of know what we're getting into. I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about how do I need to shape it. At the same time, as I just said, you have to uphold a standard. And with the new people, especially with the new people, you have to, I might have to be a coach or encourage or, but I don't know that I've thought about specifically what that looks like. I think I'm just going to do what I do, play it the way I play it, and feel it out in the moment.
Amazing. So this weekend, as we mentioned, the Celebrating Gwen Hoebig concert's taking place at the Centennial Concert Hall. What will this weekend be like for you as you celebrate Gwen and everything that she's meant to you and to the Winnipeg Symphony?
Gwen and I have, I think, spent the last year and a half savoring every moment of, I think I can speak for her in saying it's been a beautiful tenure for both of us to be together. I have loved every minute of it. And so, yes, I've spent the last year, especially this last season, really loving our time together on the front and feeling, trying to take in all of the moments that they are for what they are. The other day, excuse me.
Not at all.
The other day, we had rehearsal, and we rehearsed for about an hour, 15 minutes, hour, 20 minutes, and then we took a break. And usually, when the orchestra breaks, people go and they get a drink of water, whatever it is that you do in your break. And Gwen and I just sat there and talked for the whole break, sat on the front stand, and somebody came up to us and said, "You guys are going to miss this." When I think about the number of times where the orchestra's gone on break and we just stay in our chairs and we chat back and forth about whatever. Yeah, I'll miss that. That said, Gwen and I, we're going to play together lots. So I don't feel like this is an ending.
Sure.
We're still going to play together. We're still going to be together. We're still going to do everything together that we've always done. Vacation, go to the lake, go fishing. We're going to play concerts here in Winnipeg. We're going to play concerts everywhere. We're going to do projects.
Yeah.
So the change will be at the WSO, but I don't think the change will be elsewhere. I'm still going to, for the rest of my life, I'm still going to text her every couple hours. So.
What a special relationship. Yeah. What's that going to mean then, looking ahead to this upcoming season, 2025? You're sitting in the concertmaster's chair, your chair. Now, what do you think you're going to feel in that moment?
I think it'll feel weird for a bit. I've done it lots of times where, when Gwen has been away for whatever, I've sat there, but I will feel a difference when, as you say, it's my chair. The first chair is. I will feel more responsibility. So I think some of it'll feel positive, some of it'll feel scary. No doubt there'll be some things that will be frightening about the change, and there is a responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah.
With the concertmaster title that I haven't had before.
Yeah.
At least I haven't had it entirely before,
sure.
Even if I've had it in small little spurts.
Right. But now it's yours in title.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we could think of anybody better for that responsibility.
Well, that's very kind. Thank
Karl, thank you so much for joining us here in the Classic 107 studios, and congratulations again.
Thank you.